All right. Hi, everybody. It's Denise Walsh. I'm an Ambassador Diamond with It Works, and I am thrilled to be partnering with you on this journey to success. I'm going to go through some updates before we hit our topic for tonight. But first, I want to share a little bit about our previous boot camp. We just came home. We landed last night at 10 p.m. from Seattle and had an amazing time. Not only in Seattle, it was our first time experiencing this city, but with our team and with other like-minded individuals who come together, who share a common vision, and that we know that when It Works grows, we all win. If you have not yet been to an event, then I absolutely recommend that you go to myitworksevents.com and look for a one team, one mission in your area. Look for the next boot camp. Look for a time for you to plug in, because some of you might not have an upline in your area. And in fact, most people don't start with an upline in their area to kind of take them through the ropes of having a party and going through things. But if you can plug in with sidelines, or if you can drive an hour or two and plug in with a corporate event or a Triple Diamond sponsored event, you will know that you are in business for yourself, but you are not by yourself. And hopefully you feel that support and love through the calls and through the Facebook pages and things, because we're all pioneers. Whether we're the first in our area or not, we're the pioneers of this business. And so for those of you that were at the Seattle Boot Camp, I would love to flood the pages, flood your Facebook page with aha moments, things that you learned. Take a look through the notes, and share the things that you learned throughout the weekend, because I know I learn things every single time I go, and I can tell you I've heard Dr. Don speak almost every month for the past 6-7 years, and he has the same jokes every single time, and guess what? I still laugh. But in the mix of that, he always is sharing something new about a testimony or a product or an ingredient or how something came to be, and the more you learn, the more you see, the more you experience, the more your confidence will grow. So I challenge everybody who was at the Seattle Boot Camp to share an aha moment and let everybody else feel the energy and love that we experienced there. One of the powerful parts of the Seattle Boot Camp was our It Works Gives Back event. Corporate challenged everybody to donate $5 to the Africa Children's Cup, and $5 would feed a child for a month, I think the stat said. And they thought, oh, we'll probably have maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500, actually. Well, it turns out the wristband sold out, and we gathered $25,000 for this charity in a matter of hours. It was such a powerful, powerful experience, and to know that as one person we're making a difference, but as a group, as a movement, we're really making a difference in the entire world. And this is more than just It Works, right? We really have the ability to give back. And Mark was sharing some really powerful things, such as, we've got 60,000 distributors within It Works so far, or at least on an auto ship, right, and active. And he said, what if everybody gave $1? Imagine what we can do for a relief fund or for a national tragedy or for some things. As a group, we are unstoppable, and that really reminded me that we're not just part of a company, but we're a part of a movement that really focuses on strength, a movement that really focuses on belief and value and knowing that we are kind of making the world a better place. It's that whole Girl Scout mentality, right? We're leaving this place better than we found it, and I think It Works is doing that. Conference is a big part of that. So we gave $50,000 or $25,000 within those 2 hours, and corporate matched it, so $50,000 total in that 2-hour time frame. Conference, we are going to leave no one behind. If you have not yet got your conference ticket, go to My It Works events and get it today. It's $179. You can do 3 easy payments, or you can certainly pay all at once. But you will not want to miss the event. Those that not only attend the event themselves, but have team members that attend the event, your team will double, period. That's just the way that it goes. Your team will grow because they will experience the culture and feel firsthand what It Works is all about. That we really are a family. No matter how big we get, we try to really have those small groups within the teams, and people feel that. They do. I've had several that this was their first event in Seattle, and they came away recognizing that we're different, recognizing that we really care about people and helping people experience success and freedom through their health and through their finances. So you need to be at conference, and you need to have your team members be there as well. We're leaving nobody behind. So the payment plans, think of how many people you need to wrap in order to pay for your plane ticket, in order to pay for your room, get with team members, get with sidelines, share rooms, 4 sticks to a room, make it happen, drive down together, do whatever it takes to be there, because I think that not only Florida in January sounds awesome to everybody, we get to write it off as a business expense, but the experience that you're going to have is really going to bring your confidence in the company, in the RAP, and in yourself up a whole another level. And when I say we're leaving nobody behind, we're doing something really special this year. For every single conference ticket that is sold, $5 is given to the Children's Cup in Africa, which again feeds children. I think $5 is for a month or something crazy like that. And so for every single ticket, corporate is donating $5 to that charity. And if we can rally together, and if 10,000 people in the next 10 days register for conference, that is, the $50,000 we're looking for, and corporate's going to match it. And then guess what? If corporate matches it, Mark and City personally are going to match it again. So that's $150,000 from conference tickets, the matches, and then our Seattle boot camp. So we really have the ability to make a difference. If you're on the fence, if you're teetering, just decide, make it happen. You've got months to save up and get your game plan together. One of the reasons I love boot camps and I love being around our team is because I get to have some special time with Mark, Pam, Mike, and the Leadership Council. And I can tell you guys, there's a lot of things I can't tell you, but I can tell you that we have big things coming around our corner. We are on track for $450 million in sales this year. So we're on track. Our goal is to be the first $1 billion per year company since I think it's 2006 was the last time that somebody did that. They thought Arbonne would do it, and it didn't. They thought Sensi would do it, and they didn't. They thought Buddy Bye Bye would do it, and they didn't. And so our goal is to break through that glass ceiling and really hit that B mark. And we know that when corporate succeeds, we all win because we're all getting a piece of that pie. So we are on track. We've got 60,000 distributors, like I said, lots of international things coming, and we know that we've got the new software system, which once all the kinks are worked out in the next week or so, will really take our flexibility and our system up to a whole other level where we can really do our job of getting the wrap on people, getting them signed up, and watch our teams grow. For those of you that are new in the business, or maybe this is your first summer in the business, I feel like summertime with a business like this is kind of like two-a-days for football. If you think about an athlete, right, or maybe you're a high schooler, they've got to go and they've got to condition. They've got to get ready. They've got to fight through those hot summer two-a-days, or maybe they're throwing up, they're tired, they don't want to do it, they come home and they sleep, they have to get up early, but they fight through the summer to get to the season. Because what would happen if a football team didn't really prepare, or they didn't really condition or get ready for the season in the fall? You see, there's no shortcut in training. If they were to take a shortcut during the season or during the conditioning season, right, if they were to take a shortcut during the summer, then they would get to their full-blown season and be weak. They would get there and they wouldn't have anybody to work with. They wouldn't have, their teammates would be falling apart. They really wouldn't have, a team, right? They'd be falling apart. There's no way they could win if they didn't really condition or practice throughout the summer. It works as kind of the same. Our momentum seasons are January through May, June. We double every single year. That's our growth spurt. We kind of plateau through the summer, and then you'll find September, October, November is kind of like a mini New Year. We grow again, and then we double again come January. And so you have to fight through the summer to get to the season. And that's the same thing with our business. I've actually had several teachers maybe or moms that have kids that say, well, when it comes September, right, I'll get back in action. Or come here, I'll get back in action. And then when they start working again, they realize it may take a few months to really start planting those seeds to get things to sprout and to have people to actually work with. What we've learned is that you don't need a high IQ in this business to be successful. And in fact, when we were in Seattle, we realized that there is no common denominator between those that experience success, except maybe they're hungry. They're hungry for it, right? They've got a little bit of that competitive edge of it, that want, that desire to make that passion in their belly, and they haven't given up. They haven't quit. But no, besides that, no other common denominator. They're not all beautiful or blonde or skinny or, there's all shapes, sizes. IQ is, short, tall, whatever, up on stage, gathering those awards. It's not high IQ that you need to experience success in this business. It's high grit. High grit is what you need to experience success in this business. And grit is defined as perseverance and passion for long-term goals. You see, when you sign up in this business, you're not saying, okay, I'm going to see where I'm going to be in 3 months, right? Because we know in 3 months you're just getting your feet wet. You're going to see where you are in 3 years. And I can tell you, when you're consistent over a period of time, you will absolutely experience success in this business, depending on what you do and where you're working towards. But we all know that with a summer, I'm kind of using the summer as an analogy, that two-a-days, the challenge that happens when you're fighting through muck or you're fighting through something hard, things happen. Things happen, and I know that there can certainly be some disappointment. There can certainly be some frustration that happen along the way. So that's what I want to address tonight. All of you joined this business for a reason. You weren't just bored, right? You weren't just saying, oh, I'm just going to hang out and build a business. No. You signed up for a reason. Your goal is to take your life from a place of here to a place called there, right? There is your vision. There is your dream. There is your debt-free. There is your goals. And you're currently here. And the goal is to take your business and take your life along this journey to a place called there. And nobody can do that for you except for yourself. So part of what we do is we identify, what does here mean? What does life look like? That doesn't mean life's bad, but it just means there's some things that you're wrestling with. Maybe you're not comfortable with being in debt. Maybe you want more time with your kids. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you are tired. Maybe your gifts are not being used. Maybe you want a challenge. Maybe you want financial freedom. Whatever it is, wrestle with that here, because that turns into your why. That turns into your why. But I can tell you, your why sometimes isn't good enough if you're complacent or you're comfortable here. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that where you're like, I don't really like where I'm at, but at least I know it? No, I know some of you out there have thought that before. I don't really like my job. I don't really like what's going on, but at least I'm comfortable. I know it, right? Well, I can tell you, you're not going to go from here to there if you're complacent. Again, we can be content and ambitious. This is not about being discontent or not feeling grateful or anything like that. This is about being content and ambitious, because I can tell you, no matter how awesome life is, I'm always looking for there, because I can be content and grateful and thankful, but I'm always learning, growing, and achieving. And so for you that are on this call, number one, you want to identify that why. What does here look like? What are you discontent with? What are you working towards? What do you want there to be? So there, in a sense, is more the vision, the dreams. What do you want life to look like? You want to see it, taste it, feel it. You want to be a part of it. When you wake up in the morning, right, are you looking at mountains? Are you looking at woods? Are you looking at a pool? What are you looking at? What do you do? Do you have coffee? Do you read your newspaper? Do you check your email? What do you do? How is life for you? And that's what you do when you're moving from here to there. You have to have a clear picture of both. And usually, when you start moving from here to there, you have this honeymoon phase. And for those that are new distributors, you might know what that feels like. The first 4 to 6 weeks when you're really taking action, you're excited, you're learning, you're pouring in, and it's called that honeymoon stage. And then you have your first roadblock. Maybe somebody says no. Maybe somebody that said yes backed out, right? Something happened where you experienced your first roadblock. The most difficult part from the journey from here to there, in a sense, is the middle. Maybe if you're far enough removed from the honeymoon stage where you're like, Oh, remember the exciting feeling I had when I first joined? But maybe you're not quite there yet, and the vision of there is a little bit foggy. You're kind of in the middle of your journey. That's, I think, when people can take a step back and give up on their dreams before they even get there. So let's talk about this. Because again, nobody is in charge of your own journey from here to there besides you. So I'm going to talk about a few things that can disappoint somebody and maybe the downward spiral that we may experience that can end up impacting us in our business. And then I'm going to talk about ways to counteract each and every step. So I hope you're taking notes, because I know I can talk fast, but hopefully you can take notes and whether this hits home for you now, or this hits home for you maybe in the past, or maybe this is something that you can prepare for in the future so that you don't experience it. But first of all, when you have an experience that is disheartening, disappointing, frustrating, you're feeling like you're pushing a rock uphill. That happens to everybody. I can tell you, I've been to lots of parties where nobody shows up. I drove 2 hours and maybe one person's there and they didn't want to wrap, or, we all go through things like that. I remember flying to Texas to do an expo and calling into work, and I had to set my phone back an hour so I could call into work. We all have made decisions, right, where we may say, is it worth my time? Is it not worth my time? And I can tell you in this business, at the beginning, it's certainly not about that, because you're making an investment in your family. I love, this is one of my aha moments over the Seattle boot camp. Instead of thinking, is this worth my time or is this not worth my time, you want to be thinking, this is an investment. This is an investment, because I know every party that I do is investing in my children's college fund. Every expo I do is an investment in my team, an investment in the stability of its growth. Every boot camp I go to is an investment in their future. And so you're constantly making choices. And when you choose to do your business and to grow your business, you're making an investment in your family, because this is where legacy and income can come from, right? It can't come from a regular job. But we all certainly experience disappointment along the way. And sometimes what happens when you experience disappointment is you first start to take it personal. You take it personally. Isn't that interesting? Have you ever had that? What am I doing wrong? What could I do differently? Why isn't this working for me? I don't know about you, but I know that I've felt that way before. I've had that self-doubt start to creep in. Or maybe I think, I'm just not good enough. Or I can't do it. Or I'm not cool enough like Cammie. I'm not pretty enough like Carla. I'm not seasoned enough like Debbie Sasek. I don't have experience like Shelley Hyde did. You can think about all these things and you can personalize that disappointment. That little voice in your head is a game changer. But I'm here to tell you that you actually do have control over that little voice in your head. So first of all, you take it personally. I'm going to talk about how to combat that in a minute. But down that little spiral, it then becomes pervasive. Nobody ever wants my reps, right? Nobody ever comes to my party. Nobody's calling me back. Nobody. I always, those words that always, never, they really just aren't true, right? And then 3, it becomes permanent. It comes to a place where we're just like, it's not going to happen. And it paralyzes us. Fear turns into self-doubt, which turns into being paralyzed. And you do not want to be paralyzed in this business, because this business is all about taking action. Being paralyzed is when you shut down. That's when you just stop doing anything. And so let's go through these 4 P's and really work through each and every one. And I know that if you've ever been tired or if you've ever thought like this, then you can kind of identify where you are right now. How are you feeling? What's going on in your mind? And then we can work through it. So the first one, you take it personally. First of all, you want to define and dispute that thought. Because the things that you say silently, the things that you say out loud and to yourself, and the things that you do, your daily actions, are your self-identity. You know, you may not really pay attention to that little voice inside your mind, but it really is making an impact on how you behave, how you sound, and how confident you seem. Do you think of yourself as an entrepreneur, as a rap girl? Do you call yourself one when you're talking to others? Are you doing things that a rap girl would do? It might not seem important on the surface, but everything you think, say, and do is what forms the person that you are. So when you're starting to take things a bit personally, what am I doing wrong? Right? Why is this not working for me? Define and dispute that thought, because it's not true. What you want to do in this situation is say, who am I? What am I good at? Am I paving the way for my team? Did it work for me? What's my story? And focus forward thinking rather than backward thinking. We all have strengths in this business, and we're all good at different things, and that's what makes the team unit work, right? We can all use our different skill sets for the betterment of the entire team. And so instead of thinking, what am I doing wrong? Is this working? Think, who am I? Am I an entrepreneur? Am I a rap girl? Am I owning that identity? What are my strengths? What am I good at? And fight that negative thinking. When you go into the pervasive and permanent always and never, nobody ever calls me back. I remember Cammie, I was telling Cammie this one time, nobody ever calls me back, right? No, my team doesn't get on the team call, and I was kind of having my own little pity party, and she said, well, that's not really true at all. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, were these 3 people on your call? And I said, you know what? They were. And it turned out they were my superstars. The 3 people that needed to be on my call were on my call. And so sometimes I think we go into this always or never, and again, it's just not true. People are calling you back, right? Let's focus on that. A silly example, I did a one team, one mission in Detroit once. There was 200 people there, but 3 of my new distributors were not there. 3. So I actually couldn't sleep that night because I was thinking, oh, this person wasn't there, and this person wasn't there, and this person wasn't there. And then I remembered, you know what? There was 200 stinking people there. The people that were supposed to be there were there, right? And it's so easy to get caught up in that negative or to get caught up in what didn't happen or didn't work. But you know what? The truth is who am I? I am a rap girl. I am an entrepreneur. I stick things out through thick and thin. I am competitive. I am positive. I am fun. And when you can stand grounded in those qualities and characteristics that you are, then these disappointments bounce right back off. And then let's talk about number 4, paralyzed, being shut down. What do we do then? What do you do if you're just like, I don't even know what to do, right? Well, let's take a look at this. Let's think of what we can control versus what we cannot control. Because I can tell you a lot of times the paralyzation comes from really focusing on the things we cannot control. There are some things we can control. We can control how many people we talk to. We can control if we look up expos and get involved. We can control getting on team calls, getting on corporate calls. We can control being involved or calling our upline when we need help. You do have a lot of control. And when you focus on what you can control versus the things that you can't, when I'm helping somebody create goals, we talk about things that they can do, right? How many people can you talk to each day? Because we can't control if they say yes or not, but we can control how many people you talk to and how many times you practice your spiel and how many times you are rapping somebody and you just get better and better each and every time. What can you control? And then do that over and over and over. Life is a movie, not a scene. It works as a marathon, not a sprint. I kind of liken us to the stock market in a sense of you don't focus necessarily on the daily ups and downs. You focus, are you in a different place this year versus last year? Is your volume higher this year versus last year? Is your check higher this versus last year? Is your team stronger this year versus last year? And when you do that, you'll find that every single year there's going to be ups and downs throughout the months, throughout the days. But next year, you absolutely will be in a different place. I find that my low checks one year turn into my high checks the next year. Right? One year I'm like, woohoo, I made it. You know, let's say your goal is 10,000. One year you're excited you made it to 10,000. The next year you'd be mad if you had a $10,000 check because things just keep growing. Life is a movie, not a scene. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And so when you paralyze yourself and you just stop taking action, that's when things can really shut down. Because what happens then is that you stop plugging in. You stop connecting to the community. You stop being fueled. So let's talk about that. You first, when you're going through this downward spiral, you first want to define and dispute any of those false thoughts and really kick it out to the curb. Define your reality. Define yourself. What are your strengths? What are you good at? And stay focused there. You want to identify, are you frustrated about things you can control or things you can't control? If you're frustrated or disappointed over things you cannot control, then that's something you just kind of have to work through and let go. If there are things that you can do differently, then certainly you can work to connect and change that. But number 3, the last thing that you do is you refuel. And the way that you refuel is that you connect. Got several ideas. Number 1, you connect. You get on the Facebook page and you get on team calls. I think it's really easy for that to be one of the first things that you do. If you're having a discouraging day, you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody. Or if you're having a discouraging month, you pull away, you step back, you disengage. The way to refuel yourself and combat this step is by connecting, going to team events, going to team calls, because I can guarantee you the energy from everybody around you, the ideas, the environment will absolutely get you back on the right track. You also want to rekindle your why. I know whenever I experience a disappointment in my business, it makes me step back and go, why am I doing this? And you know, the why is way bigger than any sort of money. The why is really about developing myself and feeling a obligation and loyalty to the team and really helping bring as many people as we can up there. What's your why? Is it to help your family? Is it to help your extended family? Is it to help others? Is it to use your gifts and skills? Is it to grow? You know, what is your why? Dig down deep. And I honestly think sometimes we need a disappointment in our business in order to dig down deep, because otherwise it might not happen. So identify and rekindle that fire in your belly. Connect again with your why. The other thing that you can do to combat this downward spiral is you can talk to your mentor. Talk to your mentor. I do think that most people in this business need to process through these ups and downs with somebody or in a group. I know with my personally enrolled, I really try to do as much group training and connection as possible, because it's good for everybody to have that space to talk about what they did that day and what they learned and how they can grow, because this is a personal development program with a compensation plan. So if you have a mentor that you're consistently connecting with, make sure you do. Make sure you're connecting, you're reaching out, you're asking for help, you're engaging. Or if there's a group call or the group page or a couple team member sidelines that you connect with, reach out and process this journey together. Because remember, we're going from here to there. We're not just like going next door. Here to there is a journey. Here to there is a marathon. Here to there is a movie. And so you want to have a team, a support network, and a place where you can process through some of this stuff. And then I also want you to think about your soul. You know, I think there's some of us, you know, you have something that you need to do to step back and regroup. For me, I need to run. I need to work out. I need to journal. I need to read. I need to have some of those places where I can be filled back up. And remember, when you're going through this downward spiral and you get to this place of paralyzation where you just take a step back and want to disengage, that's the last thing you should do. The first thing that you should do is reconnect. Get on those events and calls. Identify your why. Call your mentor, your support system, and journal, read, run. Find the thing that you need to do in order to be refueled yourself. You know, self-doubt usually starts with the trigger. Maybe it's getting outside your comfort zone. Oh, you feel nervous? So it's scary, right? What I've learned in this business, if you feel nervous, that means you should do it, right? So sometimes what you'll find is that you'll have these emotions that are quote unquote seemingly negative, fear, anxiety, any of that kind of stuff. And we've got to flip it and turn it into something positive. Anytime I feel nervous, I know that means I should do it, right? Because that means I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm growing out of my comfort zone. Anytime I feel fear, anytime I feel self-doubt, I know I need to push through it because that's what makes me grow. Self-doubt usually starts with some sort of those negative emotions, and then it turns into those thoughts, that I'm not good enough thoughts. And I can tell you every single person has them. So don't think you're alone in this arena. Even, I still have them. Are people going to think I'm cool when they actually meet me? Are they going to like me? Am I good enough? All those things. People still have that because we're all human. But that doesn't make it true. And it doesn't make it something we should sit on. It's something we should stomp out and keep focused on our goals. Self-doubt can lead to paralyzation. And so the 2 homework assignments I want you to do between now and the next call is, number 1, I want you to write a list. Who am I? Who am I really? Because when that self-doubt creeps in, we want to have some ammunition. Who am I? And then the second part is, what do I want? What do I want out of life? What do I want out of this business? What do I want? And then the third thing is, how do I stay refueled? Through connection, through identifying your why, with working with your mentor, your support system, and finding the food for your soul. Be the distributor that you want to sign up. And I promise you, in a year, 2 years, 3 years, you will be in a different place. We are calling this the September to Remember. And it's just one more Blitz card, just one more call, just one more webinar, just one more where you're really stretching yourself and getting outside your comfort zone. Because the more you do it, the more confidence you will have, not only in the company, but in the product and in yourself. Go back through my notes really quick to make sure I didn't miss anything. Two things that I want to leave you with. When you find your support system, never do this business alone. So stay connected to your inner circle, in a sense. Kind of find your key players that you talk with, that work with. It can be your upline, it can be your downline, it can be your sidelines. It doesn't matter, but somebody that you would call your inner circle, where you feel like you can call them if you're having a hard day. Never do this business alone. And then never give up on an opportunity to be around young leaders. One of the things that gets excitement back in this business is when you sign somebody new. Have you ever had that where you're like, oh man, I don't really want to go to this party, blah, 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 and then you go there and you come home on fire? That's what I love about this business, because it doesn't feel like work. We get refueled by doing the business. And so if you ever feel tired, go wrap someone, call some leads, work with your team, and I promise you that will help revive you as well. But as you know, this is a September to Remember, and my challenge to you is to do just one more. Work on identifying who you really are, what you really want, and how you personally can refuel each and every day in this business, and then go talk to one more person, because we all know what to do. Our goal is to always be meeting new people. The goal for our personally is to have the confidence to do so, and I know that each and every one of you is on this call for a reason. You are in this business for a reason, and I challenge you tomorrow to just to hand out one more Blitz card, one more party, one more event that you might not normally do, and I can tell you it will pay off in your business. Your identity is in your self-confidence really will attract the type of people that you want in this business. We really are mirrors for who we bring in. If you're wrapping somebody that says the wrap doesn't work, my question is the wrap work for you? When you're talking to somebody that says, you just think about who you're bringing into this business. You are a mirror. And I know when I first joined It Works, I prided myself as being a clinical psychologist because that's all I knew. That's what I felt the most comfortable with. But the truth is that I wanted to become a rap girl because I wasn't happy with my job as a psychologist. So even though we might be afraid of what people think or say, when we tell them we're a part of a network marketing company, we have to own it. Because 9-to-5ers just don't, that's just not where it's at. And more and more people are starting to learn that. People want to join your team when you're confident about what you're offering. People buy Michael Jordan shoes because he's cool and he's talented. People buy it and join our team because they see that there really are people who are successful with this and living their dream life because of it. And that's what we want to showcase. So at the end of the day, do you believe that you are a rap girl, that you're an entrepreneur? Do you believe that you can do this full time? Are your actions reflecting your words that you're speaking? When you're blitzing, when you're scheduling parties, when you're talking to new people every day, do you have that fire in your belly and know that you're at the right place, at the right time, on the right team, and that you are the right person? When you are happy and proud of what you're thinking, saying, and doing, people will follow. People are always looking for a new positive influence, and that could be you. Who are you? Do you own it? What do you want out of this business? And let's together, hand in hand, make it happen. Thanks so much, guys, for listening in tonight. We will be here, same time, same place, talking about another common roadblock that we experience in our business, and we'll get those details out to you later. So have an awesome night. Thanks for listening. Bye.
The moderator has left the conference.